Submission is respect.
Yeah.
Submission is communication. Submission is compassion. Submission is love. And submission is God.
Yeah. Like what you said. I'll pick one thing.
Yeah.
I think submission is communication, because communication, you send a message, the person receives it, and they feedback.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is it that you want? What is it that I want you to submit for? You understand?
Yeah.
I have to understand that there is things that I am, strong at.
Yeah.
And there's things that you're strong at. Do you understand? When you talk about multitasking, that's you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can only do one thing at a time. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to understand that when there is complex, things that we need to do,
Yeah.
should I be handing them over to you to handle? Or should I just be holding on to them because I'm a leader? So we need to understand that when you say submission is communication, there is sending and receiving. And that feedback that you get back, what do you do with it? Exactly. So if I'm asking you to do something, you refuse. What is it that I didn't do that makes you refuse?
That makes you to refuse.
Yeah.
Submission is partnership.
Hey, yes, Shia, listen to me. Hi, man.
Submission is partnership.
Yeah.
Submission is patient.
Yeah. Very true.
And you're talking about if you don't submit, what is it that I haven't done? Okay. So I shouldn't retaliate or act in violence, but I should be patient. Because love is patient. And if I say submission is love, then submission is patient.
Totally.
And that means
I shouldn't, be short-tempered.
to be short-tempered.
Yeah, I shouldn't be short-tempered because you're not submitting quickly. I want you to submit quickly. I shouldn't be impatient, right? I need to send a message and wait for it to be received well, to be understood well. So that the answer that comes out of there is not a miscalculated answer. It's not an answer that hasn't been given enough thought. You understand? So you can't do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
I need you, you need me. You know?
True.
It has to always go in that way. And I know our discussion may seem like it's a bit, abstract and
yeah, it's because we're discussing. It's because we're talking about a complex topic.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you feel like you shouldn't be submitting, know that there's a problem. There's something that is lacking. And you need to, I know it's not always easy. We were talking about the fact that, in our Tswana culture,
Yeah.
when someone elderly sends you to do something, it's not right to say no. Right?
Yeah.
Now we took the same scenario and put it in the work context. People feel that they have to do something because their manager asked them to do, even if they don't want to, even if it's not part of that job.
Yeah.
Right? And because we belong to Setswana culture, right? We bring that with us in the office. And the other person was saying, the moment you refuse to do something, the moment I refuse to make coffee for my manager, right?
Yeah.
It's a career limiting move.
Ish.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's a different context. We need to understand that. I always say, I like the corporate world, though, because you can ask someone older than you to do something for you.
Yeah.
And you can call
and that's okay. It's called professionalism.
Yeah, you can call. I can call. My even my boss's boss by her first name. It's a different culture because I think and it's easier in a company that I work for. It's a global company.
Yeah.
So
Different cultures.
there's different cultures. So it's we're trying to match this our culture with everyone else's culture. It brings up a new culture. Haven't we digressed?
No, now when you're not talking about the organization that you work for with different cultures, now we get into marriage, and someone is from up north and the other one is from
Down south.
down south. These are two different cultures,
Yeah.
two different upbringings.
Yeah.
And we all know we are talking about submission and you're talking about culture. That there is culture has also played a role in misinterpreting the real submission. Please hear me well. I'm not saying culture is wrong.
You're not
or
against
right.
culture.
I'm not against culture, but I'm just trying to say that we all have seen and we all have read, even religion, even culture have really been degrading, for lack of a better word, a woman, or like it has made a woman to be inferior, literally inferior. And now you're talking about culture for somebody who is in a relationship or who is in marriage with somebody from a different culture that really oppressed women. That person grew up looking at their mother being treated that way and looking at their father doing those things, and they feel that's okay. And today there could be somebody out there who is in that marriage and they're just there, they're looking at other people who are really defining submission as love, submission as patience, submission as not a command. Because most of the time in people who are really rooted in culture, submission is a command. I tell you to do this. If you don't do this, you have disrespected me. And yet submission is not a command, but it's a partnership, it's a communication, it's an agreement. So what can you say to somebody who is in that state?
Yeah, it's.
Do we say patience? They should be
Yeah,
patient.
you know the things the virtues that you mentioned,
Yeah.
patience, communication, kindness, and love. They don't necessarily make the aggressor, or should I say the perpetrator, weak.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't. And they probably think so.
Yeah. So in the context of culture, our culture, the unfortunate thing is I don't know if it's, it's like how we reference certain races just because of their color. We even call, if it's an ideal black person, let's say it's someone that's wealthy that is in my color of skin, we call them makoa, right?
Yeah.
Because we reference this koa culture so highly. It's like only if you do certain things can you be the koa. You understand? The koa is a
white person.
it's a Caucasian, right? So I don't know if it's because it still seems they're a race that's
superior.
That's superior. I said it seems, or is it something that like we said earlier, is a pattern that we are used to.
Yeah.
We don't want to let go.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about culture, our culture is communicated the same way over and over and over, right? Monna ke selepe. Samogano. What does it mean in English? My friend lives in Belgium. I don't know who to ask these things anymore. He's the one that I used to.
An X and can be shared. Right.
So what essentially means is, men can go anywhere and do whatever they like, right? And yeah, you can correct on the charts there, guys. But that pretext starts to oppress women to start thinking that if they see those things happen in their family, it's okay.
It's okay.
You understand? And usually it doesn't look right when you question these things, right? I'm not asking for men to be weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm asking for us to be the bigger people.
You're asking men to imitate Christ.
To imitate Christ, right? So instead of in a situation for you to take part and increase the problem, let's help our society to be better.
Yeah.
If there's feedback that comes to us, let's look at it and interrogate it, right? Investigate it, and really, while we were talking earlier on, when you're talking about our culture of marriage, I thought about how, we don't investigate the people that we get to say investigate.
Yeah.
Study. Let me say study or observe.
Yes,
Let me not make it too clinical, right?
Yes.
We don't observe and we don't. Sorry, I'm gonna keep going back to this word. We don't check. We don't interrogate.
Yes.
Investigate who the kind of person we are getting into a relationship with. Who that person is, and unfortunately, we find out these things later on, sometimes very late, right? So before you look at the money, or you look at the body, or you look at the prettiness, you need to go a little bit deeper and investigate what are some of the things that I need to be sure of before I commit to this person.
Yeah.
You understand? If you're getting to married to a Muslim chap, what is their stand when it comes to Sharia law? Is it do they believe that women are inferior? You need to investigate that. And if they do believe that, if you get in, is there an opportunity for that to be let go, or it's going to remain? Instead of just chasing what you see, dig a little bit deeper and find out if it's something that you can live with.
That's true.
Yeah?
And it goes back to what I was saying, that when two people come together, when you talk about love and submission, who is your inspiration? The supreme God. And our God that we're talking about, we know that we get the inspiration from the Word of God, which is the Bible. And it's important to check those things. If your supreme God is culture, for example, the culture that believes that women are inferior, the culture that just oppresses women, then it's a problem. It's a problem because everybody obeys what they believe in. And if you meet your spouse, man or wife, because you're still talking about how both parties can abuse each other. And if you meet somebody that obeys culture, okay, I want to make it clear. Culture is good, but there's some other things that...
Aspects, yeah.
Yes, there's some other aspects that we have to...
Should be done away
let
with.
Go.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm Kalanga. There's some certain things when you get married that
Kalanga
we used
queen.
to do. Yes, I'm a Kalanga queen. That we used to do. But of recent, we are not doing those things anymore. You understand? I think we have come to believe that it's not really about actions. For example, when you say your wife should kneel down before you when they give you food, it's fine. You can do that if that's the way you want to show your...
And you're okay with it.
That's fine. If you're okay with it, you're happy with it, and that's your way of showing submission. But the truth is, you can do that because it's something that's done in that culture, and yet in your heart you're standing up. You know?
You're standing up in your heart. You're kneeling, but you're standing
and
up
you're
inside.
standing up inside, and you're gonna get tired because you're not doing it out of love. You're doing it because it's something that your husband values and feels like this is it. But you need to understand it from the context of love, not from the context of just action, because eventually you're gonna get tired.
Yeah.
So it goes back to who inspires you for submission and love to work. What is your inspiration? Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honey, I think we've chowed.
The submission. Yeah.
We've chowed the majority of the topic. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is submission is not abuse. Submission shouldn't be abuse. Submission shouldn't be I command you. Even our God has given us free will. He has given us a choice. Submission is respect, not one-sided. Because we were talking about compromise the other week, and I think some people are compromising a lot in the name of submission, and then that's why they get tired, because they're doing that which their partners want them to do just because it's been done, not from the hub of love. If you're okay with kneeling, if you're okay with, I wouldn't advise you to just say stay because you're being beaten. Do you think somebody can be okay with being beaten? Anyway, there's some people out there.
No,
but
you're
anyway,
not okay. There's a plastic deformation that has happened in their head. Something's not right.
Rethink. So that's not submission. Submission is love. Submission is compassion.
Yeah.
Submission is communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, finally, I just want to say, gentlemen out there, let's be the bigger people. Where there's issues, let's try to look for the root cause.
Yeah.
And target problems, and not problems are not always with the other person. Sometimes it's you. That you need to make a shift.
Yeah.
So just interrogate, look inside, whether you're the one that's wrong or the other person is the one that's wrong. You don't have to apply patience. We don't have to go around looking for people to submit. It should be something that comes to you because of the person that you are, how you work with people.
Yeah.
So let's make this world a better world so that it's worth living for everyone.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, the people. The family. I was avoiding to say our people. We don't own people.
Yes.
So thank you so much, family. Our people. We are your people. We are our people.
Yes.
So thank you so much for spending time with us. Remember to share the content. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And we'll see you in another episode. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.